I'm gonna keep
Hello, and welcome back to Conversations with Karen and Kat, the podcast where we connect with powerful change makers, visionaries, and everyday heroes who are shaping culture and community. I am Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And today it is just us chicks. It's just us. Applause for us.
That's right.
And we wanted to talk to our viewers and our listeners about things that have been going on with us. So if any of you follow us on social media, you will know that a couple of things have happened. I'll start with the smaller one, but still significant, is that we, Conversations with Karen and Kat, are the recipients of the Gwinnett NAACP's 2025 Voice of the Community Award.
Yes.
And so this was awarded to us. Kat and I were part of a banquet for the Gwinnett NAACP, their gala. And so that is our award. So Conversations and Karen and Kat, there was a whole vote and everything. So we wanted to say thank you to the Gwinnett NAACP for recognizing our work, because this is truly a ministry for Kat and myself.
Yes.
And we want to bring, this podcast was created to bring information and resources to the community.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
go
right.
ahead.
And it started from just us talking, and I want everybody to go all the way back to our very first episode.
But can you believe it's been 3 years?
Girl,
We've been doing this for 3 years, 3.5 years actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that it started from just in your den
in my living room.
Just chopping it up. And that's what I want everybody to know. It really started from just out of our conversation, identifying the need. And it grew into other people recognizing, hey, wait a minute. We can chime in and we can help. I just was talking to somebody today and they were saying they wanted to find some resources. I said, have you checked out our podcast? We got a host of people on there. I mean, a host of folks.
Yeah.
And it just bloomed into something that was greater than ourselves. And I think that that's why it is doing so well. What you think?
Yeah. I think that the information that we bring is useful.
It's providing solutions.
And it's providing solutions. So we Kat and I both were candidates. Someone is no longer a candidate. Were candidates in the past. And we met really great people while we were on the campaign trail. And as you're meeting people, you're finding people, you're talking to people who are doing the work, creating solutions to everyday problems, and or to not even everyday life situations. And after my race ended in 2022, I was really thinking about how can I keep the momentum of having met people and having these great conversations with folks that we'd met on the campaign trail. And that's how Conversations with Karen and Kat came about.
Yep. And sitting up, talking it out, from going into the restaurants to going into your office to now
we're virtual.
And can interview anybody anywhere around the world. But
we were limited to folks who were just local to the Atlanta area. But now we literally can talk to anyone anywhere in the world as long as they have an internet connection.
Which everybody does these days.
And we can talk to them. So
bring the information to your living room, which is important. So, and for people who don't follow us, please go to Conversations with Karen and Kat. Go to KarenandKat.com. or you can find us anywhere where you listen or watch videos.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm.
are on TikTok. We're on IG. We still have an IG. We still have a that
Twitter.
little blue birdie page. Well, it's not a blue birdie anymore, right?
Oh yeah, right.
But we still have a presence there. I don't check that page.
Mm-hmm.
I think our posts may still go there. I'm not really sure. Like when we send posts
Our links
from,
to live.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that may still go there. I don't know. We don't that one we don't keep up with.
Right.
Just because of the nature of the platform.
Correct.
So yeah, we don't
Yeah.
go there, but we do monitor and post to our IG page and to TikTok and to our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Our Facebook group is Conversations with Karen and Kat, right?
Yep, it is. Everything across all our platforms,
Yeah.
Conversations with Karen and Kat. And if you're interested in being on our show, we go to our website. We have a booking link, and
Yes.
we are actually, by the grace of God, for the rest of this year. Actually,
Booked.
for a while now. Yeah, we were fully. It was a time when we sit up there, girl, like, hey, okay, we got to go find somebody to do the show,
Yeah.
da da da. And now, you know, it like the award says,
yes,
you know, we out here putting it down.
So much so that now folks are reaching out to us in email, pitching stories to us. Oh, this person you should have this person on your podcast, you know. And so that's how we get great stories,
Yep.
you know, to feature. So the first thing was the NAACP award, and the second thing was somebody did a little something.
Somebody did a little something.
Somebody did a little something.
So who was
And
that? Who was that? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't
So,
know.
you know.
So this thing happened. Miss Ma'am. Please, for our listeners who cannot see this photo, please tell us what this is. And you have on this stunning orange and white duster. Please tell us what's going on. Why do you have your right hand up
on
a Bible?
All right. So for all of our loved ones, family, and friends, and our listeners all across the globe, I just was sworn in on November the 10th as the newly elected Snellville City Councilwoman. And I am just so ecstatic. That's right. So on the screen for our listeners, there's an image of myself being sworn in by Judge Colvin. What's up, Judge Colvin? And my daughter is holding my mother's Bible, which, you know, everyone knows I lost my mom before I was 5, both my parents. And it's very near and dear that we were able to hold my mother's Bible and be sworn in that special day, which we made history in the first time in Snellville. If I'm not mistaken, there were 3 newly electeds sworn in by 3 female African-American judges. Yep. So that is history. In the 100-year history of Snellville, I don't believe anyone was sworn in 3 seats at the same time. And I know there weren't sworn in by 3 African-American judges. So with that being said, that was history in and of itself. And I'm just very proud to be a part of that. And we got about 2,000 people who actually came, over 2,000 people that actually came out to vote. And it was just a really, really great experience. And we, the community, we unseated an incumbent.
Yes.
And it was a lot of hard work, and it wasn't overnight. Like Karen said earlier, you know, we met during the campaign trail in 2021, and our relationship just thickened and grew, and just doing the work. And when you're actually doing the work in the community, you run into so many people. Facts, you run into so many people who are actually in the grind. And when I first ran, it was a little, you know, put off. I don't know if the right word is, but when people like, I don't know who you are, I've never seen you before. And I'm like, well, you're not in roles that I'm in. You're not in the lane that I'm in. I'm out here helping veterans. I'm helping with mental health. I'm helping with people who attempted suicide. I'm out here with people who living on the street. maybe what you choose to be valuable and how you want to give back to the community may not be the same way I want to give back to the community. But that doesn't mean that my work is less worthy and less, making positive change in the community. And what, Karen always says, just keep doing the work, keep doing the work. And that's what we did. And here's a picture for those still, listening. We have a video, a picture up of just a few of the many people in the squad that supported me. And there go my girl Karen. She fly. I want y'all to check out that bag she carrying. Y'all can get y'all one. That's a bigger picture, a more fuller picture of my outfit that I have on as well. And my sister.
That is your village.
That is my village. Yes, that is my village. And that's just a portion of the village, because we met so many people on the trail, man. It was just, from crying to people praying for you, and it's just real deep. But that's just a portion. And I don't know if we have a picture of the whole audience. Not that everybody was there for me, but it truly was standing room only.
We have video of the audience.
Okay.
But
if they can't see it here, they can go to our YouTube channel or check us out. Go to KarenandCat.com, KarenAnd, and I'm CAT.com, and make sure y'all go for those listeners who are actually listening and not watching the video. But it was amazing, man. I was overwhelmed. I was nervous. I was scared. And I don't know if we have pictures of election night. Y'all just got to go check us out. Go follow us. Because, like I said,
there's definitely pictures on IG of election night.
Because look, I haven't even had a chance to put up my own pictures. That's how busy we've been. And I'm still, my feet don't hurt as bad as it did, but my back still hurt. But it takes a lot of work. And it's not easy doing the campaigning, and governing is even harder, but it's doable.
Yeah,
it's doable. And while people may be the naysayers telling you not to run or you should give up or the third time, we here.
Because you did have some people who were negative about you running for a third time. And what would you say to them now, sis?
Drop the mic. I would just drop the mic, because like I used to always say to my son, who was an athlete, and in sports sometimes people get heated up and they want to throw blows or whatever, and I would always say to my son, just shut them up with putting points on the board, then just walk away. Do your best. Walk away. And so that's what I would say to people. Check the points on the board. Look at the record. Look at the work that I am doing, and look at the support that we receive from the people, because it wasn't me that won. It was we that won. And the people of Snellville spoke up because they were tired of being overlooked. They were tired of being taken advantage of, and they were ready for change. And I had a person that was there by their record 20 years and crickets. So that's all I got to say about that. And the citizens just spoke up.
All I know as an onlooker, it was a sweet victory. Yeah. Because we were sitting someplace and I was like, yeah, I want you to mop the floor.
But you know what?
And that's Karen saying that. Kat didn't say that.
Yeah, because people will sure put words in your mouth.
Yeah, Kat did not say that. Karen said that. So because what I saw was tone deafness. And a lot of I statements rather than we.
Yeah.
And
coming from the other camp.
Coming from the other camp, not from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that resonated with your voters. That they were ready for something different.
Yep.
And you took the time to come knock on their doors and sit in their living rooms and talk to them. You sat on their porches. You
sat on their floors. A dog peed on me. It was. It's real. Like, you're like, wait a minute, did I? And it's
not the dog peed.
And I'm like, yeah, I gotta go now. I gotta go home, jump out of that, take a shower, and all that stuff. But it truly is. And for some people, it's a stunt, right? People, they stage things, and that actually happened. People stage things. They do things right in the timing of an election. What, again, I can't say it enough, Karen will say, just do the work. And so I always encourage everybody. And that's what leaned into where we are today. While, in my opinion, while we were victorious, what I was hearing back from the voters and my fellow neighbors, because I'm a resident, is you've been consistent. We see you all the time. Oh, I didn't know you then, but I'm getting,
because the first time you ran, people said they didn't know who you were. And then you still, because you were showing up at City Hall before you ran. And then even after you lost the first time, you continued to show up. You continued to press. You continued to show up and ask questions. You applied to be appointed to several municipal boards.
Yeah, let me jump in and add to all of that. Thank you. So we lost, so like you said before, I've been in Snellville for 25 years. I've raised my 3, plus I had custody of my niece. So I had 4 students cross the halls of South Gwinnett High School, go Comets. And because now everybody's grown, right? I'm no longer on PTA, PTO, all this other stuff. But it's like what I did when my kids were in school, like that doesn't matter. It's almost like Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? But the fact of the matter is, I'm still involved in my community. I just have shifted from being on the campus of schools to being out here in the streets, wrapping my, services around parents. And
but even though, so let me interject just briefly. Even though you didn't have students at the school, you were still at the school. So don't gloss over that.
That's true. Thank you. I love that. So, I do have a problem with self-recognition or whatever that title is, like building out my resume. A lot of people like the best person to talk about yourself is yourself. And I do have a problem with that. So thank you for bringing that up. I do have to be able to, absolutely right. I was and still am.
And you still are.
And
as a
Gwinnett County public school mentor. Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. And I volunteer on other boards and all that stuff. So you're absolutely right.
And you've been approved as a mentor for what, 3 years now? 2 years?
Yeah, for the county. And then I was on the board for other 13, 18. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And not to mention, like you said, dealing with the kids. Because I used to be in them hallways. They say, them not your kids. Yeah, they're not mine, but they're mine until their parents get here. Right. Because we're all in this village. So that's a whole nother story when I first got here and all that stuff. But when we lost, because people said, I don't know you, because that is the thing, though. When you run for office, name recognition is a thing.
Yes.
And just think about it, family. When you go to the polls, and let's just be honest, you don't have to raise your hand, but when you go to the polls and you don't know the person's name and you haven't done your research, the first thing you think about is what name rings a bell.
Yes. What sounds familiar?
Correct. What names? That's what I mean. What rings a bell? What sounds familiar? Or who has the letter I for incumbent next to their name? And then you're about to fall. Or if there's no one, you'll just bubble in whoever's there.
Okay.
Right. And so we're all guilty of that. Sometimes, some fashion, some form. We've all done something like that, or maybe not, but it's okay. But when you are a candidate, you have to now become a household name. You have to do the work to get people to know who is Kat Hardrick. Where are you from? And regardless of how much work I knew I had to do, I had to swallow my pride and say, I still have to earn the respect, your value, your appreciation, your understanding, your vote. Right? Because if I didn't, I would be just as bad as the people who I'm trying to unseat.
Yes.
Who have now taken advantage. So when I did, I said, okay, well, let me check the boxes.
But how close did you come in the first race?
Oh, yeah. 200 votes away for the very first time against an incumbent, the very first time out the door, which, by the way, let's go ahead and drop some more cred. My girlfriend, Karen Scott Green, in a countywide race was equivalent on a countywide race against a 20-year incumbent.
Yes, who had never had a competitive race. He'd never had a competitive race.
And you never ran either.
Yeah.
So my little bitty race, still important in a city of 20-some thousand people, to a countywide race which is the second, at the time, was the second largest county in the state. And she got equivalent to what we talking about with my race for the whole county out the gate.
I think it was 43 or 44%, something like that.
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was more than that. I think, well, we could check the numbers, but
yeah,
she close to 50% of the votes out the first time. Girl, bye. Yeah.
Listen, I used to know the number.
I know, right? But I just want to put it in perspective. It's doable. So didn't unseat, went back 2 years later. I got more name recognition. I filled out all the applications to sit on boards, which I applied for boards before, but I never kept a record of it. I never thought about, you fill out an application, you never hear back. It just goes to the back of your head. You never think about it. You don't keep a paper trail. But this time I was more intentional. So I applied for planning. I applied for DDA. I applied for appeals and so forth. And I didn't hear anything back, but I kept a paper trail. And then I finally, I think in like 8 months, I know I applied either like in March or May, something with an M, and then one of the months with the M. And then I didn't get a denial letter until November of 2024, something like that. And then, it was in 2024 because I kept a record of it. And then they said the letter didn't give me a denial, didn't give me a reason, like there are no available board seats, or, you got a stub toe, you can't be on the board. Like no reason. It just said you were denied. And I can upload that video. I'll put it on because I like to have facts. You know how we roll. And I never was selected to get on the board, but there were vacancies. But that didn't stop me. I continued to do the work in the community. Like my girls say, continue to do the work. So I started to volunteer on the Snellville Farmers Market. Got the t-shirt. Did that for a little bit. And then ran in 2023. Lost. Well, it was
by how many votes?
It was a 3-person race. We went into the runoff. We were the front runner by 16 votes. We didn't cross the line. So if you're in the runoff in the state of Georgia, you have to get 50 plus 1. You got to get 50% plus 1 of the voting pool. So we were 16 votes away from getting 50 plus 1%. 16. So we went into the runoff, and then we wind up losing by 60 some odd votes, just under 70 votes. So we went from 200 to, let's just call it 60.
Wow.
And then what Karen say, keep doing the work. So I continue to doing the work. Mind you, I'm knocking on doors, I'm sending text messages, making phone calls, building relationships, still sitting on boards, feeding the people in the community, veterans, human trafficking, children, unsheltered, just all the stuff still. And mind you, I've still got my own family, my own life, my own everything. And I've had death, I've had all types of things that still happen like everybody else in their life. Life still life. Life kept lifing. And
Life is lifing.
Right. And then we ran. And you know what? So I forgot. I made a public statement that I wasn't going to run. Because I thought, I was like, okay, Snellville don't want me. I'm good. Like, we ran 2 good races. We were, hitting doors and everything. And my first race, my girlfriend jumped on a plane from Detroit, came down, all that. And then, hey, Kat, we need you to run. Hey, Kat, you ever thought about running? Can we get you to come out? I'm going. But y'all ain't, we ain't know you. You've been consistent. We need a voice. We need a change. I mean, different. So I went to prayer because I fasted and prayed. Y'all know I believe in the Lord. And God guided me whichever race to run in. And in the 9th hour,
Literally.
The not the polls, but the qualifying time closed like at 4:30. And
what time was your paperwork in, sis, on that last day?
I think like 4:20. It was something like that, girl. And I read it, I was like, oh my goodness. And yeah, I ran, did what I needed to do, dropped off the paperwork in the ninth hour, and our name was on the ballot. And they sent out the notification like at 5:00 that day that I had qualified. And I ran against the same person I ran against 4 years ago. And in this race, we lost by 200 4 years ago. And in this race, we won by over 400 votes. We got 60-something% of the votes this time. So it was a community effort. We did that. We on a large scale. So let me say, how do I want to say this? I want to drop down numbers, because one of the things that I want to, not only do I want to say thank you to everybody that supported us, Karen, Brother Green, all the names just goes on for everybody that supported us, from reoccurring donations to in-kind donations. I mean, it really and truly takes a village. But what I want to drive home is Snellville has, and we're going to keep whole numbers, Snellville has over 20,000 citizens, 22, something like that. Over 20,000 citizens. So let's do the math, Karen. It's 20,000 citizens, over 20,000 citizens, but let's just say 20. We have over 15,000 registered voters. So that leaves 5,000. Of the registered voters, so that's 5,000 is not registered. Of the 15,000 that's registered, only over 2,000 people voted. So now that leaves 15 minus 2, right? So
13,000 people who didn't bother. 13,000 people who did not bother.
So 13,000. So 13. So we're at 18 because we got 5,000 that ain't registered at all, plus the 13 that didn't vote. So that's 18,000 people whose voices are not heard.
Yes.
Whose voices are not at the table. So my challenge is to everyone listening, wherever you live, please get registered, get involved, and remain involved and active. Because if you do not do that, the things that you are saying are not helpful to the quality of your life will not change.
They sure won't. Listen, if you don't vote, you don't have a voice.
That's it. That's a t-shirt. If you don't vote, your voice has been silenced.
Yes.
And you are not at the table. And that's why a lot of the folks that did come to me and said, okay, Kat, we want to support you, is because their voice was silent. You had people who, now, and don't get me wrong, this is another thing. People are like, oh, Kat, you selling a whole bunch of pipe dreams. You making promises that you can't keep. I never made a promise. The only promise that I can guarantee is that I will work my behind off.
Yeah.
That's what I can guarantee. And the other thing that I can guarantee, I'm going to do everything that I need to do within the law. I will guarantee you that. I'm not going to do nothing illegal. Because while I love orange, I don't like that kind of
jury. Orange is not the new black.
Right. I don't like that jury,
Yeah.
And then the second thing, because I can't control everything. The only thing I can control is myself. And that's something that we need to drive home. But because people do make promises on the campaign trail, and good and well that you can do it. Yeah.
And to that, I would say, when you learn that you cannot get a thing done that you thought you were going to be able to.
Yep.
To let your constituents know, hey,
off the rip,
this is what the roadblocks are.
Correct.
This is the reason why we can't do X, Y, and Z.
Correct.
Now, here are some alternatives. Here's how we can try to mitigate some of the effects of whatever this thing may be.
Yeah.
But keeping your constituents informed and engaged in the process as much as possible, because people are counting on you to be their voice. So if you find that you can't deny, I'm just going to say, a rezoning or something like that, because that seems to be what's very important on the local level. Um, then let people know
What the
why.
rules are, what the
Like,
restraints are,
oh,
what
well,
everything
this
is.
may have been the best alternative
Correct.
to what else could have been on the
Right.
table.
Because sometimes doing the thing that says Godzilla is coming, but instead of Godzilla taking over all of Georgia, they just gonna take over half of Georgia.
Yeah.
That might be the concession that you have to make because you can't stop it, right?
Yeah.
But in that piece that I want to say in terms of people making promises, that's what sometimes turn people off, the 18,000 people and beyond that don't want to vote because they feel like they're constantly being let down or misguided or lied to, whatever that thing is. So that it's voter apathy. And then the other thing that people don't vote because voter suppression. If you work 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 and you live in the metropolitan area in any part of the world, and it's going to take you 2 hours or so to get through traffic, and here SB 202, the ballot box are now moved inside of the building. And if early voting is open in my area from 9 to 5, I'm at work at 8. I don't get off until 5. I'll never be able to come in and drop my ballot box off. And then they say, well, you have weekends. Well, most people still work on weekends. And then there are people who, now that I have weekends, this is the time for my family and my kids got to run around and do all these other things. So then they can't make it on the weekend. And then it was like, well, we have 3 weeks of early voting. Just because you say that it's early voting, advanced voting, doesn't really make it still convenient for the population when they can't come in between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Either make it early or make it later, so then people can get in before they go to work or after when they come home. And I mean, this is just something that's to think about. But these are reasons that people are saying to me, because I've talked to thousands of citizens. And I'm proud to say that because, like you said, sis, it's doing the work. I have to go out there and I have to talk to people, shake their hands, and get into what is it? Because people will say, well, what are you going to do for me? When I say, what is it that you need? Well, I don't know. All right. So now we have to have a real conversation. Because we got to flush this out. Like, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? But my team would crack up. George, this is a true story. He came by and I was knocking doors. I was at somebody's house. And then he, some time went by. He came by. I was still at the door talking to the person. Then he circled back around. And he was like, man, how many doors? You better cut that conversation short. But I realized it was those types of conversations that shifted the race, because I never rushed anybody. Anybody ever go and knock you off? Then you come in and they just rushing you on. Didn't do that. Every conversation, I stayed there and I listened. Sometimes I overtalk Karen and we talking and I'm trying to get in all that stuff. We having a conversation on the show. But
she's like that in real life.
But when people are explaining stuff to me, and they really, I'm so down to earth and I'm like, I shut it down. I'm literally listening. I'm not formulating a response.
Like I'm listening and I'm listening to understand what is the thing that is troubling you. And Oprah says this all the time. Everyone just wants to feel heard. Even children, even small children.
Every human
being they just want to feel heard, that you heard me and that you understood what I was saying, what I'm trying to convey, what I am feeling. Not necessarily that you agree with me.
That's it.
That you heard me.
That's it. And I want to continue to do, because how do you know what's wrong with somebody if you don't sit down and listen to them? How do you know what somebody need if you don't sit down and listen to them? Well, like Karen say, continue to do the work. And that's what we plan on doing. So we had our wins. I can keep talking and stuff, but we had our wins. We had a good time. And, our celebration was that we celebrated with the community, celebrated with our volunteers, and we got to get to work. So I'm excited about it. And I'm just encouraging everybody, if you're not registered to vote, if you're 17 and a half, You can get registered to vote.
You sure can.
17 and a half.
Regardless of where you live in this country, at 17 and a half, you can register to vote.
Yeah.
And so, anybody who's followed this podcast, that we are civic minded, we are civically engaged. We believe in exercising our right to vote because there's so many people who died literally for our right to vote.
Dying, died,
yes.
and are still dying.
Yes, Goodman, Schwartz, and Cheney. Remember them?
Yeah.
They were trying to register people to vote in Mississippi. So they're, I think about my own grandfathers in Florida. Both of them owned land. They owned their own land. They had lived in their homes, lived in their communities since birth, and multiple generations had been in those counties where they were living, and both of them died never being able to vote because they were not allowed in their counties in Florida.
And people don't realize how old, not old, but how recent that is.
Yeah, my grandparents, both grandfathers died in the 1950s.
Yeah.
And in Florida, they could not vote. When my dad came down to Miami in the 1950s, as a very young man, he had served in Korea. And when he came home to North Florida, which is where his father was his family was living. And he immediately left because he couldn't register to vote. He couldn't do anything. There was no, real livelihood there. And he went down to Miami and he voted. He registered to vote and he voted. And he called my grandfather the very first time when he voted in Miami. And my grandfather said, "Boy, you doing something I ain't never been able to do."
Wow.
These white folks won't let me vote.
Wow.
That was in the 50s.
Wow. So the Voting Rights Act, what, 1965?
Yeah, my grandfather died. One of my grandfathers died in 57, I believe. No, 55, because my mother was 15. He died in 55. And then my other grandfather died in 59, and neither one of them, one lived in Central Florida and the other one lived in North Florida, and neither one of them was ever able to vote, which is why. And my parents made sure that they let us know that, and which is why, like, all three of us, my siblings and I, as soon as we were 17 and a half, registered to vote. All of my children are registered to vote.
Facts. Yeah. I said I was going to break friendships if people didn't go vote. Look, because look, my uncle, and I said this in my acceptance speech, in August of this year, he turned 100 years old. He's a World War II veteran. And, my grandmother was born in 1914. And when you look at how, like you said, their struggle, when you hear their stories, and even on this campaign trail, I met elders that were in the 80s and 90s years of age, and they would share with you their story. I had a gentleman share with me how he was spat on and everything, and girl, and it just, like I said, it was a movement, and there were so many people like, you can do it, you got it, we are with you, pushing you forward. And it was in all walks of life. There were people who said they were stark Republicans and they would never vote for a Democrat, but they would vote for me, even though we know that it's nonpartisan.
Yeah.
But because they saw in
you were doing the work.
It's just as simple as that. And that's what I'm saying. When you do the right thing, when only God is watching, and you're looking for what's best for the human race, the environment, what's best in that regard, then people will see that when they want to see it. When people will align with what's good in the world, then they will stand with you, not behind you, they are with you, and they will walk that walk with you. And I was just so glad to do that, because when these individuals were sharing their stories with me, girl, when I say we were crying and praying, and then I'm not saying that every conversation was good, honey, because I had some not healthy conversations, and And it was interesting, very, very interesting, because not everybody, obviously not everybody voted for me. And I'm not naive to think that, people want him. And I understand that there aren't people who want it. I'm not their preferred choice. But guess what? I'm here to serve each and every person, with integrity, with respect, and I'm going to continue to do the work, period.
Your message resonated with the majority of the folks who came to vote.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that we can get more votes, because that 18,000 people, man, that has to change.
Getting folks registered, getting folks active.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. 5,000 people to get registered and 13,000. So that's what I'm saying. 15,000 registered and another 13,000 who are registered, and get everybody active. And then that's when you really know the pulse of the community. And I'm hoping and praying that we can get those numbers, instead of having just over 2,000 people vote in the voting pool, that we can flip that and say 2,000 people didn't vote and the majority of the other people did. I mean, I would love to hear 100%.
Yeah.
If we can flip that, that's the biggest objective. So the takeaway today, folks, if y'all not registered, get registered. If you're looking for a place to plug in, there are a bunch of organizations, the NAACP, voters, Women League of Voters. What's the name of the group?
Women League of Voters.
Yeah, Women League of Voters. You have a ton of, not indisputable. Is it indisputable? That's a group that you can get with. So check out local organizations if you don't know where to go, what to do. And look at our podcast. We have a bunch of folks on our podcast.
Yes.
We have people who, Beauty Baldwin, she was a superintendent in the state. We even had Harriet Tubman. Everybody know who Harriet Tubman is. If you don't, go ahead and check out the African American Museum and get, some more information.
Well, we didn't have Harriet Tubman. We had one of her descendants, one of her family members.
Yeah, let me hurry up and say that. We had one of Harriet Tubman's fourth generation.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so thank you for clarifying that.
I think it was her niece.
I meant to keep going with that. If you don't know who Harriet Tubman is, go know her. But we had one of her descendants on our show, and you could plug in with her organization. But it's a ton of places to go, because I do believe in my heart, a lot of people want to do some things. They just don't know where to start. They don't know where to go.
Start locally.
Yeah. And to start where locally? You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, we could say start locally or get involved, but what does that look like? Where do I go to get started?
Go to your county. If it's nothing but looking at your county commission, looking at your
but doing what with that? That's what I'm saying.
Go to a meeting. Go to a meeting.
Add that part. I'm so serious. Being on the door, people like, I don't know what to do. And so you literally have to say, I know.
I'm not going to accept that. People know. People know. I'm not going to accept that. People know.
I promise you.
They want to be willfully ignorant. They know.
Well, that could be a phrase.
And that's Karen saying that. Kat didn't say that. That's Karen saying that. They want to be willfully ignorant. There is enough information. If you don't do nothing but watch TikTok all daggone day, you can figure out where to go to get plugged in. But I'm going to put a plug in that. That was Karen saying that.
Yeah.
That was Karen. Not Kat, the elected official. That was Karen, the other one.
The other Karen.
That was me.
The K said it, not the C.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, if you need a place to get plugged in, start locally. Go to your local meetings, your city council meetings, your school board meetings, your city commissioner meetings. Go to your PTA meetings. Start going to schools and go to those meetings. Support your educators. Go to your school and ask, how can you help your school?
Yep.
Right. If you don't know that, if you have a place of faith, go to your place of worship and ask how you can plug in.
Because I shouldn't say most churches. A lot of churches will have a social action committee that's engaged in community community activism. Or if you're not involved with a church, a mosque, a temple,
any faith worship,
any faith-based organization, if you are not someone who subscribes to any faith, then check out organizations like the NAACP, the Urban League. Any organization that's doing work around voter engagement, can put you to work.
Yep. And if you don't want to get involved with that,
At the
get involved in giving back to society, becoming a mentor, helping veterans, helping our seniors, plug into a nonprofit and get involved and find something that you're passionate about. And sometimes passion gets, because some people say I don't have passion. So if you don't have that passion, the thing is, if there is an issue that you want to solve, you see a problem that you want to solve, let that be your purpose and find a solution for that. And then that way you can help contribute to the world and making the world a better place, because those are the people that we bring to our love seat. Thank you, Sister Podcast, for that one. The love seat. And come to our love seat and learn about the people that we have on our show. So maybe you can plug in and help them.
Yes.
So just do something.
And if you're really confused, put our show on Spotify, pull up our show on YouTube, let it play on repeat. And we've got plenty of episodes that talk about how to get engaged in your community, because everyone should be, you can think globally, but you need to act locally. And we're gonna end that on this note, because at the very least, if you can't figure that out, if you don't want to spend time going through our shows, hell, Google how do I get involved in my community. Everybody can do that.
Go to AI. What can I do to help my community? AI tell you.
I tell you. You ain't gotta listen, you ain't gotta sit through hours of our show, even though we want you to.
We sure do.
Google, how do I get involved? If that's the very least you can do, but get off your ass and do something. Make your corner of the world a little better than it was yesterday.
Amen to that. I love how she said
what
she said. Look, what she said. What she said. I thought
that's right. This has to be our new tagline.
I know, right?
Get off your ass
and do something. I'm gonna say, get off and let Philly and do something. You know what? And this is what I wound up saying towards the end. If you ain't got nothing nice to say,
don't say nothing at all.
If you ain't got nothing nice to say, let your votes be your voice.
Ooh, there you go.
That's what I said, because what I didn't do was become nasty. So you know what I said? Say it with putting points on the board. So like my sister said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say or do, then you ain't know what to do, then talk and do something.
And do something about it, right?
That's right.
So
with that being said, take care of y'all mental health and be good to each other and be good to yourself.
Yeah. What you doing for you got any holiday plans?
Oh girl, I'm praying to God that we order out and have some things delivered. Oh yes.
I'm not mad at that.
Girl, we all sat down as a family and was looking around like, who cooking? And I leaned back like, we know it ain't gonna be.
Them days is over.
Girl, and I'm tired too. Girl, we all was looking around because my daughter normally hosted and everything, and because pendulum has swung.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, I know it's not my turn. I got like another 30 years before I have to cook. And so we're literally trying to figure out where to cook out. But the other thing too is, a plug for the veterans. The American Legion is hosting for our veterans, and I believe it's open to the public. You can register on Thanksgiving Day. They're going to feed people. So on Thursday, November 27th is Thanksgiving. And so again, keep doing the work. So we're donating and making sure we have food for folks. Because that's something I used to do when I was active duty. I would host holiday, because a lot of
like
people
didn't get to go home. Before it was called the Friendsgiving.
I know, right? Yeah. So before then I burned some stuff, but that's when I know how to cook. But so plug into that and help somebody. And in my church, we're giving out turkeys and everything. But I'll be doing some community stuff. But at the house, girl, no, we plan on ordering some food. Probably watching some of our favorite movies.
I am not mad at that.
Because I'm tired. I really am. People don't understand. I feel like I need like 2 vacations. What y'all doing? You going out of town? What y'all doing, girl?
So we should be having dinner at the house because the boys will be home from college. And their godmother is invited over. That's my other sister. She's invited over for dinner.
Mhm.
And I think oldest son and his family with the granddaughters, I think they're going to come by for dessert because they're going to have dinner at their own house.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is our Sunday. I mean, our Thursday. We may get away to my sister-in-law's house if things work out. With Mr. Green is still trying to figure out the logistics of that. So we
Girl,
shall
the holidays.
see.
Yeah,
We shall
I
see.
know, right?
You
Well,
know.
I'm praying that everybody has safe travels. I know the airlines and everybody's doing a lot of stuff, and I'm glad that people are able to go back to work and try to get some normalcy back in their lives. So I hope everybody have some fun and be safe and shoot, girl, and eat good and be good and don't have no family drama. Look, go ahead and play spades, laugh it up,
Don't worry about no diets. Put everything on your plate that you want. Provide you ain't got no health restrictions.
Right.
Just enjoy yourself.
And have a good time. And when you don't have nothing else to say, just laugh. Don't spread no judgment. Just laugh and have a good time, honey. Have a good time.
And while you are at it, we need you to subscribe to Conversations with Karen and Kat on YouTube, Facebook, IG, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes.
And we need you to remember that you are part of the greater conversation. We want to thank you for being a part of this episode on Conversations with Karen and Kat,
where we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.